Hey, and welcome to Off Balance with me, Arish Shah. This is the podcast where I take you through bite-sized chunks of knowledge that I've learned over the last 20 years operating as a CEO and CFO. You ready? Let's get to it. If you aren't chasing your debts, you ain't going to get paid. Let's face it, we've all been there. We've all been left carrying the can of a debt that never gets paid or certainly drags out into God knows when. And even as a CFO, I'm guilty of this as well, right? So I've been left holding the can on a couple of debts, which I wish I'd chased a bit harder and a bit faster. Because the reality is, working with startups, you're always at risk of not getting paid by someone at some point in your career. Now, the reality is that startups often prioritize cash as best they can because they've got limited cash and limited availability to be able to pay everyone on time all the time. You would hope that they would, but the reality is that most founders are going to prioritize what's important to them, and that's going to be always paying their employees first and then critical suppliers thereafter. So if you aren't in the line chasing your debt, the likelihood is that you may not get paid. The second thing is that even working with corporates or larger organizations, they often will delay paying any sort of debt because they get bogged down by the process, right? So they'll have multiple sort of approval levels that they need to go through. You'll need to talk to the accounts department, the procurement department, make sure that, a purchase order has been filled out and approved and an invoice has been sent in the right format, occasionally even in paper to the office in order to make sure that they're going to pay the bill. So if you don't pick up the phone and call up that debtor, the likelihood is you're going to be back of the queue because other people certainly will be. So my best advice to anyone who's in any kind of business which is taking payment on credit, pick up the phone, speak to your customers and make sure you're getting paid. There we go. Hit me up in my DMs on LinkedIn or Twitter if you've got any questions. Otherwise, let's get back to building.